All right, this is a very interesting article for the Federalist, Liz, and I want to break this down in case people aren't familiar with the train of how this happened. Walk us through how John Brennan could have been the one behind this and how the focus of the DOJ probe signals that that might be the case.
Right. Well, John Brennan really comes back to the center of all of this. If you remember, senators on Capitol Hill were being briefed personally by John Brennan back in 2016, which led to Harry Reid calling on the FBI to publicly calling the FBI to investigate the Trump campaign for these ties to Russia. And that, of course, had to have come from the Democrat dirty dossier. And that all started after John Brennan went and was briefing, seemingly telling everyone in Washington. And of course, at the same time, you had all of these leaks and trying to get a narrative coming in the news media, and they unsuccessfully were able to do that until, however, President Trump won the election, and John Brennan and Jim Comey and the rest of them had a meeting in the Oval Office with Barack Obama and Joe Biden, Susan Rice. Then they had a meeting the next day with President-elect Trump on January 7th, 2017, and that's when Jim Comey briefed then President-elect Trump on this dossier to give it a news hook, to make it legitimate in the eyes of the news media, which had up until that point refused to report the crux of the allegations in this Dem paid-for dossier because they could never check it because it was unverifiable. It was completely bogus. However, many people believe it was Brennan's idea. He used Comey to brief the president. Then suddenly it leaks to CNN. Jim Clapper, he's involved here too as well, gets a contract with CNN. Brennan ends up getting a contract with MSNBC. But these people at the highest levels of the Obama administration were up to on a full course in vendetta against Trump. And they used every means necessary to try to sabotage him. And that's why we got the collusion hoax narrative from the beginning, before Trump was even sworn in.
Right. And the part of that story that really gets me is that the media had been offered the Steele dossier. They'd been offered to publish this material, and even the liberal mainstream media, as biased as they are, refused to publish it because it was such garbage. The only reason they ultimately published it was because of this allegation that John Brennan got Jim Comey to brief President-elect Trump, and after that, that was the information, that was all the hook, to use your words, that the media needed to be able to report on this, to say, well, the president was briefed on this. Clearly, the intelligence community thinks it's credible enough to tell the president-elect. Therefore, that's the reason that we're publishing it. That's really crazy to me.